is it. The day finally came. We can't do a 2000s music nostalgia show without eventually talking about a butt rock band.
You know, you'd have thought the first butt rock band we'd talk about would be something more interestingly bad, like Nickelback or Puddle of Mud.
You're kidding, right?
Well, come on, they're both terrible bands. Certainly more noteworthy reviewing than Three Doors Fucking Down.
But those are both easy targets, and I'd rather review Three Doors Down than those fucktards.
Well, at least we don't have to review Creed.
What?
You know, Creed, that band with that terrible singer, Scott Stapp.
Who?
What do you mean, who? Creed were probably one of the biggest music acts of the 2000s.
I never heard of them.
Never heard of them? Are you fucking kidding me?
I have never heard of them!
Okay, man, okay. You've been giving me that same creepy look for about 10 minutes now. Here, look at the camera. We got a review to do.
A what?
A review of Three Doors Down, right?
Yeah, Three Doors Down. Okay. Ah, yes, Three Doors Down, one of the big rock bands of the 2000s. With many top 10 charting rock hits to their names, you'd think more people would remember these guys, right? This is one of those bands from the 2000s that had massive selling singles, minor critical acclaim, popular tours, and yet somehow they've been buried in rock history. Was the disappearance from the mainstream deserved? Was there more to this band? Or was it perhaps a sick combination of both? I don't know, but maybe we can answer those questions today with our review of Three Doors Down.
The band's current lineup consists of frontman Brad Arnold, guitarist Chris Henderson and Chet Roberts, bassist Justin Biltonen, and drummer Greg Upchurch. The band has undergone a few lineup changes, with Arnold and Henderson being the only ones that have been with the band from their first album. Their name dates back to the early days of the group in 1996, when it was Arnold on vocals and drums, with Matt Roberts on guitar and Todd Harrell on bass. One day they noticed a sign in an office building with a number missing that read Doors Down. They liked the idea of using the sign as their name, but completed the sign with the number 3 since they were a trio at the time. Hence the name Three Doors Down. After touring for a couple of years, they recruited Henderson and set to work recording a demo.
This demo is one of the most boring things I've listened to for this show. All of the songs would appear on the first album 3 years later, but here the songs feel like they lack the punch they'd later get. Another problem I have with this album is that Brad Arnold is trying way too hard to emulate the Eddie Vedder style of alt-rock scene.
What could you mean by that? On here he sounds just fine.
See, Eddie Vedder is the lead singer of Pearl Jam, one of the most famous grunge bands. Vedder had a distinctive voice. As the years breezed through the 90s, imitators came. You'd have people that would only moderately imitate him, such as Rob Thomas from Matchbox 20.
You help me, I'm bent. I'm so scared that I'll never get put back together.
But some vocalists would downright rip off his style, such as Darius Rucker from Hootie and the Blowfish. In the 2000s, the imitators were so frequent that it became a joke. Well, Three Doors Down are committing that same sin here, only to a lesser extent. There are times when Arnold's voice has its own identity.
If you let me try, I will let you see again.
Just for it to get sucked back into the need to sound like Vedder.
If you let me go, I will burn your heart away.
It's not an unlistenable demo, but it is a snoozer.
There was one song in the demo that was destined to give the band critical acclaim, and it was also one of the earliest songs that Arnold wrote. One day in math class when he was 15, he started drumming a rhythm on his desk. It was an unusual rhythm, and he was soon writing a song around it. After recording the demo, the band gave it to a local radio station, and the program director recognized this song as a hit. He played it, and it became their #1 requested song for 15 weeks. It wasn't long before the song gained the attention of Republic Records, who signed the band to their label.
Are you ready, Trey?
About as ready as I'm gonna be.
Because this is one of the most epic rock songs of the 2000s. What's with the snark, man? I'm serious.
Okay, Randy, whatever you say.
Dude, don't underestimate the power of this song.
Oh, man. You are too much.
I'm serious. I like this song.
Whoa. I thought this song didn't age very well.
Well, you were wrong. Kryptonite is a behemoth. From its epic, heavy drum patterns to the awesome lyrics about friendship to the soaring guitar line, this is one of the best songs of the 2000s. Even if it screams post-grunge, this is iconic.
The band's debut album, The Better Life, is an enjoyable listen. This is the only album in the band's career that sees Arnold on drums and vocals. There are some fantastic moments, like the title track, Better Life.
I'll pass it away on to a better life.
The most interesting thing about these songs, though, is the stories behind them. Arnold wrote the song Loser from a first-person perspective about a friend. You might think he wrote it as an insult to him, but the truth is that it isn't a song about a loser. It's a song about self-doubt, something we can all relate to.
I'm a loser. Sooner or later, you know I'll be there.
This is the best song on the album. The instrumentation is pulled off well enough to sound like a classic grunge track that came out of the early 90s. Then there's the vocal play. Brad is harmonizing with himself, and he does an amazing job putting the listener in the position of the song's narrator. It's disorienting and intense. It's astounding that the song barely even charted.
Then there's Be Like That, which isn't just a song about following your dreams, but missed opportunities. The first verse leads you to believe the character is older, but then hints are dropped that make you believe the character is younger. It may not add up, but it's not supposed to. The song is left open to interpretation, the way Arnold intended. It's brilliant what he did here.
I could be like that. I would give anything just to live one day in those shoes.
There are weak points on this album. Brad hasn't gotten away from the Eddie Vedder. This is also where we start to see the most annoying part of Three Doors Down, unfinished choruses.
Can you tell me why again? This world can take me down. I won't turn away, yeah. Oh no, I won't turn around.
Imagine the iconic chorus that Smells Like Teen Spirit by Nirvana if it stopped without that awesome thundering guitar transition. It's a fucking cock tease, isn't it? Well, you better get used to it, cause Three Doors Down does it all the fucking time. Another thing that gets annoying are the guitar lines, which can sound quite intriguing. Just for them to get destroyed by a brick wall of distortion. Distortion is not a bad tool to use, but here it can bring down a song that could have been more interesting without it. Overall, it's not a bad album. Songs like Smack have an amazing drum part that make up for the album's weak points. It does show promise. I just wish the band didn't start showing so much of its weak side so early.
After their debut, the band toured and brought in drummer Richard Lyle so that Arnold could be at the front of the stage. Lyle was left after the tour finished, and another drummer, Josh Freese, was brought in for the recording of their follow-up, Away from the Sun.
Here we go. This is the most nostalgic Three Doors Down album for me. It's full of songs that I remember fondly. There's the title track, for instance. Brad's Brad started to gain a personality for his own voice. Gone is the Eddie Vedder wannabe twang, and in is the sincere baritone. For an era full of crappy rock singers, Brad must have had an epiphany and decided to move away from that style. He also decided to be more melodic. Listen to those pitch jumps. Not many singers can pull that off. As a former singer, I can vouch for that.
This album produced opportunities for Arnold to prove himself as a songwriter. The title track is a message about perseverance and getting up every time you find yourself down. When I'm Gone is about unconditional love, as the singer asks his wife to love him while he's gone. The song resounded with families as the Iraq War approached and soldiers were preparing to leave.
This is a song that proved Three Doors Down were more than one-hit wonders. There were people whose loved ones were at war in Afghanistan, and when the Iraq War broke out, you can bet that this song only got stronger. Brad sells it, and tugs at the strings of even my left-winging heart.
This wasn't the only song from the album that hit close to home during the war. Here Without You was also about what was going through people's minds. Whereas When I'm Gone took place as the singer was saying goodbye, this one takes place as he is stationed overseas and missing his family. Though the band wrote it, it's about being away from their families on tour.
This song shouldn't work. It should be the sappiest piece of crap you've heard in your life. But as strange as it sounds, Brad sells it here too. He sings it so convincingly that you can forgive the swelling strings and cliche lyrics long enough to see eye to eye with him. Sometimes stupid lyrics delivered well can equal a great song. However, this album isn't without its weak points, and you can bet there are a lot of them. We have the weak, lame choruses.
Now I'm going through changes. God, I feel so frustrated lately.
And the guitarist kills things with distortion yet again.
All these little things in life, they all create this haze.
Overall though, because Brad is improved, it makes for a stronger album, especially the closing song.
Sarah Yellen is one of my favorite moments from the band, and Arnold's finest moment as a storyteller. It's about a girl who is being abused by her father. She turns to her brother and mother for help, but takes care of the problem herself by killing her father.
Dude, I doubt Brad really had the guts to write about something that edgy. You're yanking my chain, man.
No, really, he did. Listen to the words.
Yeah, right. And Ocean Void are going to get inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2038.
Now it's over. The old man is dead. Lying on the ground. Laying his head.
I told you.
Jesus Christ, when Brad Arnold wants to be, he's fucking hardcore.
For the Away from the Sun tour, the band brought in another drummer, Daniel Adair. The touring was more extensive this time and kept the band busier than ever. In 2003, they formed the Better Life Foundation, a charity dedicated to making a better life for children. During this time, they also hosted the first Three Doors Down and Friends concert to raise money for the charity. Following the tour, Adair joined them in Nashville to record their next album, 17 Days.
This is an alright album. It has some pretty great moments such as It's Not Me, which has a strong chorus. And then there's the first hit off of the album, Let Me Go, which is pretty memorable.
This is a great song with another relatable message. It's about the problem we all face of wondering whether our significant other loves us for who we are or part of us. We hide the rest and fear that they won't love all of us. It's a problem we all understand, but a complicated one to explain. Arnold captures the essence of it with this one song.
The downfall on this album, aside for even more weak choruses and overuse of distortion, is that Brad sounds like he's the only one who gives a shit here. The band falls half asleep, throwing in their usual formula of what you come to expect of 3 Doors Down. Brad's lyrics also start getting kind of annoying. He has a great voice, but sometimes his lyrics are vague. Too vague. See, there's this song by Bo Burnham on his comedy special, What?, called Repeat Stuff, that talks about how disingenuous love songs can sound. Well, think of this as the equivalent for songs about general life problems. Lyrics about darkness and light? Check. Lyrics about being lost in life? Check. Vague drama queen lyrics that anyone going through a rough time can feel? Check, check, check. Just some variety is all I'm looking for, Brad. Just some effort and some variety, please, I'm begging you.
Since the album was recorded in Nashville, there was a very special guest across the hall working on an album, Bob Seger. Arnold was in awe of him and thought it would be a good idea to use him on a song, but was too afraid to ask. The producer of the album asked him instead, and Seger agreed. He appears as a guest vocalist on the song Landing in London.
Oh, Bob Seger, aka Poop Seger, aka the granddaddy of butt rock.
What are you getting at?
Well, you know that scene in Family Guy that says that all Bob Seger songs are about pooping?
No, I'm not aware of this.
Here, I'll show you the clip.
Oh, yeah, all of Bob Seger's songs are about taking dumps at night. Night Moves, Like a Rock, Shakedown, The Fire Down Below. Against the Wind was him pooping out of a car.
Okay, it's funny, but what about it?
Landing in London, as serious as it tries to take itself, is impossible to keep a straight face while listening to. Brad sounds fine singing about the frustrations of touring and being away from his lover, but listen to this exchange where Seger sings the second line and tell me you can't imagine a man who can't wait to get back home to his toilets.
I just can't wait to get back home.
Think that's bad? Wait until they start singing together, man. You can't take Brad seriously anymore.
I need your love to hold me up when it's all too much to bear.
Oh, God. Okay, man, we gotta mature up here. We're a couple of adults, not 12-year-olds who play Xbox Live way too much.
That's right.
Oh, okay.
Use your light to guide the way, 'cause all I think about is you.
We're going to hell. 17 Days is the weakest of the first 3 Doors Down albums, but believe it or not, things were about to get even worse.
Adair left the band in 2005 to join Nickelback, replaced by Greg Upchurch, formerly from Puddle of Mud. They returned to the studio in 2007 to record their next album, a self-titled release.
This is where things went in an ugly direction for 3 Doors Down. This album is easily the weakest yet. The choruses fail yet again to finish.
Forget your pain and watch me fall apart.
Which become more blatant on here than the previous albums. There's a few occasions where the distortion again kills the song.
Tell me where will you be when it's over?
The biggest flaw is that this album is just not very interesting, which helps accentuate a lot of the flaws of the band. The songs wander around aimlessly, and the weak choruses and distortion overuse really don't help it.
Something we haven't touched on yet is how well 3 Doors Down albums were selling up to this point. The Better Life went platinum 6 times, Away from the Sun was certified platinum 4 times. 17 Days was platinum once. And Here with the self-titled, it was only certified as gold. That's right, this was their first album to not go platinum. Sales got lower with each album, but this is where the quality started going downhill.
That's not to say that there's nothing positive, though. There's Citizen Soldier that captures a unique rhythm that the band had never tackled.
Citizen soldiers holding the line for the ones that we died from the dark of despair.
But the best track on the album has to be the closer, which is Three Doors Down's best track. It has an awesome trip-hop rhythm, Arnold's lyrics are actually metaphorical, and it's quite touching.
She can't take much more of this, but she can't let it go. And that's okay, she don't want the world.
In July 2010, the band returned to the studio again for their next album, Time of My Life. The album cover with this clock on it was an image that I associated with the band for the longest time, even though it was only released 5 years ago. The clock image is more significant to the band than you think. It reads 305, 3 representing how many members were in the band to begin with, and 5 representing how many there were now.
This album, it's a mess, guys. I'm not going to lie. It is the band's weakest album. While there are far fewer weak choruses on here, it feels like the band has gotten bored with their style and are on autopilot. Except instead of flying them to a tropical resort, they steered directly into the ocean. There's bland songs with vague lyrics that are rampant on here. Take On the Run, for instance. Here, Brad tries to get in touch with his inner Springsteen, but instead of making you grab a beautiful girl and run away with her, he spouts off cliches we've all heard 100 times before.
Yesterday, so far away, tomorrow, so far to go.
Even worse is the distortion, which comes thundering in, killing almost interesting songs like When You Were Young.
You give what you give, 'cause they make you.
Look man, distortion is great, but when you crank that shit all the way up, all you do is just drown out all the interesting elements of the song. Stop it! But that's not even the worst part of this album. The album's biggest problem? Surprisingly, it's Brad.
It's that time, isn't it?
I'm afraid so.
Now, ever since I joined this show, I have been dreading this moment.
So have I. It's time to talk about Nickelback.
By 2008, rock radio started becoming less popular, with the post-grunge and emo movements being seen as passing fads. Most of the blame for this was directed towards Nickelback, who were said to be self-plagiarizing. Chad Kroeger's vocal style became a joke, but he remained widely imitated by frontmen like Arnold.
On this album, Brad sounds absolutely horrible. He leads you into thinking he is headed into a cool new vocal direction on the title track.
Another day in some other place. Can someone please remind me where the hell we are?
Just for him to go into this high-pitched strained growl yell that even Kroeger did better.
It gets crazy, but that's fine by me.
This wouldn't be so bad if it was only a track here and there, but nope, it's all over the place.
2 major events happened between this album and the next one that would change the band's sound again. In May 2012, founding guitarist Matt Roberts left the band, citing that he needed to focus on his health. In July 2013, bassist Todd Harrell was charged with vehicular manslaughter after driving under the influence of prescription drugs and causing an accident that killed a man. He was immediately suspended from the band, with Arnold saying in interviews that he would always be like a brother, but he needed to get help, and the band had to be put first. As for Harrell, after dozens of postponements, he was finally sentenced in December of 2015, receiving 2 years in prison and 6 years probation.
Wow, he got off surprisingly easy for killing someone. What did he have, the same frickin' lawyer as Brock Turner?
We're topical.
This is significant because other bands tried to defend the negative actions of their bandmates. Take Puddle of Mud. Their lead vocalist has been arrested on several occasions. and the band has done nothing but defend his actions. Three Doors Down, on the other hand, not having any of that shit. It's good to hear that at least one band has a sense of decency and humanity without having their singer go into Ian Watkins territory before they'll say anything bad.
Brad Arnold was now the only founding member of the band left, and saw it as his duty to continue making music. Chris Henderson was promoted to lead guitar, and Chet Roberts was brought in as the new rhythm guitarist, while Justin Biltonen was added to the lineup as the new bassist. They were soon working on new material. Their most recent album, Us and the Night, was released only 4 months ago, making it 5 years between it and their previous one, the longest gap they've seen yet.
Dude, I bet you this one is just gonna suck. Let's not even bother.
Why do you say that?
Because all these albums have done it just get progressively worse. I find it hard to believe that this is gonna be anything but... Okay, one song. One song means nothing. If you're ever gonna go, then never let it show, 'cause I don't wanna know. 2 songs. Most of the other albums had at least 2 good songs. There's one chance to find out who I wanna be. Okay, fine. 3 good songs. Whoop-de frickin' do. You promised me my heaven, but I'm living in your hell. Okay, I get it. This album is fantastic. Stop interrupting me. I was cringing at the thought of having to listen to this after hearing the direction the other albums went, thinking it would only be worse. But it turned out to be the band's best. The guitarist uses distortion but keeps the riffs interesting. Arnold stays out of Kroger territory and the songs are all fun and catchy. But the best part? The band finishes every single chorus on this album. It's a Christmas miracle. Dude, we've been saved. After all of these boring ass albums, finally one that gets it right. Oh man, thank God for this album.
This was my 3rd favorite album from these guys. That may not seem high, but it's saying a lot when you consider how fantastic their first 2 albums were. This is the only other one that managed to reach that level of quality for me. Whenever the next album happens, I hope they continue to put out material like this. I'll be honest, I was dreading reviewing these guys. I was worried that I wouldn't have enough to say about them, but also that I would hate them. I was proven wrong on both counts. There was plenty to say because Arnold is such a great songwriter, and so many of his songs have much deeper meanings below the surface. What's more, I enjoyed the experience a lot more than I thought I would. 3 Doors Down may not be the greatest bands, but they are a lot more tolerable than you would think. In fact, they're downright good when they want to be.
What the hell is this? What do you want now? This is a comedy review show. You're supposed to be angry and yelling at the camera. Get with the program. Bada bing, bada boom. You know what? You're right. I can't do it. Why not? Because they're not worth it. What the fuck is that supposed to mean? I pay you to get angry and yell at stuff, not have sudden epiphanies. But it's true. 3 Doors Down is harmless. They put effort into trying to write meaningful music. It may not always stick, but I'll take the honest-to-God effort they put into their work over the boring, repetitive bullshit that was coming from other artists. Their lyrics are simple, and people need that. There are times in our lives where so much shit is going on that the convoluted metaphors of Radiohead are just too much. We need something restrained and straightforward to relate to. One of my all-time favorite albums is Pale by Toad the Wet Sprocket. That album doesn't dig really deep lyrically, but it speaks volumes emotionally. I highly suggest you listen to it because 1, it's criminally underrated, and 2, it helps you understand why people love 3 Doors Down. Read the YouTube comments on their songs sometime. It's astounding. People say 3 Doors Down have been there in their time of need, or helped them while they were struggling with suicide, or helped them through a difficult breakup. You won't hear that a lot about Puddle of Mudd or Nickelback. There's a reason why these guys are held to a higher regard than other bands of their genre. Three Doors Down is not worth the anger, regardless of their inconsistency.
Wow, Randy. Your words have inspired me. I've seen the light. Farewell, brother. I must now go to a Buddhist temple and make an attempt to find myself.
I don't know where that hand's been.
Farewell.
Trey? Trey, where are you going? Don't leave me here, man. Come on, Trey, no. Trey, come on. Don't leave me like Jordan left me. Again? I'm on my own again? You should have just kept with the goddamn formula, Randy. You see what your pretentiousness did? It made Trey cuckoo. Well, guys, I guess I'll see you next time when I'll be on my own. Yet again, probably reviewing something shitty. I just hope Australians don't get involved. See you next time.
Crazy